Hello there, welcome to my video this week. I'm Karen from karenantara.org, and this week I'm going to be talking about why finding your soul purpose is so important, so valuable to you. In order to truly find your soul purpose, you have to dig deep, like deep inside. It seems that the world is set up to assist us in everything but going deep inside. We've kind of been trained towards instant gratification. Everybody wants something quick, you know. Children at school don't learn to strive for things in the way that we used to. Although, you know, the pendulum can swing both ways, I think, too, because we can be told that something is so hard to achieve that it feels completely out of reach, so we don't bother trying. Alternatively, we can be told that we can do anything that we want, but not shown the skills to persevere or dig deep, you know, to achieve those goals. So I'm a big believer in slow and steady wins the race. I'd like it to all be quicker, of course, but over years, I think I've come to the realization that we need focus, dedication, commitment, consistency. And that doesn't necessarily come naturally to us. We kind of have to be trained in that. We have to learn that. But when we, you know, dedicate ourselves with that consistency, the results I've seen far outweigh things that are got very quickly. It's almost like you get a depth to the knowledge as opposed to, you know, the surface layer. I've noticed that in many areas, instead of training youngsters to achieve their goals, encouraging them to keep striving, to keep improving upon their results, etc., that in many areas, standards are being lowered to allow for declining standards. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If students don't reach the required score on exams or entry-level exams as well, the school boards lower the score that's required so that more kids appear to be successful. Even, you know, the required fitness tests in the army, the basic training, even that level has been lowered in order to get more recruits in through that pass stage to get them through into the next level. I could go on with loads of examples like this, but a lowering of standards seems to be taking place everywhere, even in terms of, you know, English writing, language, you know, understanding, reading, even math. So does this serve us, you know, this same lowering of standards to which we are being trained now, does it apply when it comes to the quality of our work as a healer or as a coach or as a therapist? Is there a lowering of standards there as well? Because for sure, the market is pretty much flooded with healers and therapists and coaches and all sorts of new agey type teachers, right? So I wonder, are the standards being lowered there as well? And then I wonder, does that same lowering of standards apply when it comes to finding our soul purpose? So I've noticed that people jump very quickly and claim that this is their soul purpose. And I don't think they're necessarily way off track with that, but I can see that it's not as exact or specific as it could be. Now, initially, of course, you would expect that because we're finding our way into things, you know. And over time, I see that that it gets refined. And then that person is really on track, really making a difference in the world. And I know that because I see it in myself and I've seen it in my clients. And the thing is that every improvement in ourself or our life or in the life of another person, it all makes a difference, of course. But when one is really, really in alignment with their soul purpose, I see that the results they get and the change within that person's own life is so amplified, like 10x and more amplified, because it seems that, everything comes together and there's like a force of power or drive that comes from within them. And they absolutely become relentless in pursuit of their goal in a good way, because it's internally driven. The driving force really keeps them on track and moving forwards. And it seems really to take on a life of its own, because there is a spiritual force now that's driving that from the inside. It seems to have like quite an unstoppable force. In all the good ways, of course. So I've seen this in some of my clients who get really on the right track. And of course, I have experienced it myself. And I would say that if you know what your soul purpose is, but you are not feeling that internal drive or that spiritual force, that maybe you still have a little bit of tweaking to do to get really very, very clearly aligned to it. So I'm not saying that you're off track. I'm saying that it maybe could be tweaked, improved, and amplified. And if you don't know what your soul purpose is yet, of course, then you have to dig a bit deeper to find what that is. It's just that you haven't uncovered it yet, that's all. And of course, I've got loads of tools and techniques and lots of things that can help you find that. So if you need my help, just DM me and I can help you with that. But I want to talk about our inner masculine and feminine as well, and how that relates to our drive and purpose. The masculine energy, we say, is the driving force, the pushing kind of energy. And we get that in both men and women, of course. In business, we say it's something like bro marketing, or there's an expression, work until your eyeballs bleed and things like that. That's very masculine energy in business. That's how that masculine energy pushes through. The feminine energy obviously is a lot softer and gentler. It's often less striving. It's more nurturing. Again, and this is the same in men and women, because we all have both masculine and feminine within us. This is regardless of physical gender. It's regardless of sexual preferences and identifications and labels and all of that. The point is, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. And to me, how people talk about this masculine and feminine energy within has been oversimplified. They literally just talk about the masculine, the feminine. I see it as two levels, really. There's the mundane, sometimes it's even distorted or wounded masculine and feminine energy that we have. And then I see another level of the divine masculine and feminine energy, which we all have, but maybe we haven't activated that energy yet, because it's at a higher level. It's a more evolved level of consciousness when we get into that divine masculine and feminine energy. That higher level masculine energy has the drive and the determination to succeed. It's strong. like the lower level masculine or the mundane level masculine, it's strong, it's got that drive, it's got that push, but it's grounded. It's a high frequency energy, but it's grounded, and that is what makes all the difference. And as well, it's guided by the inspiration that is coming through and accessed by the divine feminine. So it's not a push energy like the mundane masculine energy might be seen, but it is a very purposeful and directed type of energy. There is much more kind of like a divine quality to it, I would say. It's divinely guided, really, to be honest, because it's driven in part by the feminine creative force. She has the creative vision. She is the creator. The feminine is the creative force. But she has the vision from that perspective of an elevated consciousness. And to get to that level, we really need to have done that inner work, the shadow work, to clear, our wounds and our traumas and our limitations and our blocks, etc. So when we're in that divine feminine energy, it's very creative, but it is an elevated level of consciousness. And then it's passed or combined with, really, the masculine energy that is grounded, but it's also a spiritual force. So together, like we're looking then at, like a divine union. But this is within yourself. This is, bringing parts of yourself into wholeness. So together, the divine masculine and feminine manifest the soul purpose into the physical level, right? And when we look at it this way, we see why people are stuck sometimes. Well, I see that often with, in the work that I do. So sometimes people are stuck in the lower masculine energy, that push, that drive, and it's out of sync with the more elevated feminine energy. So I kind of see it. I don't know if you're watching this or not, but if you imagine the masculine and feminine at the lower level and then the masculine and feminine above as well. So we want to get both parts into that elevated level, but sometimes we're more developed on one side than the other, So we get this lower masculine energy with the drive and the push, and we get the higher frequency divine feminine with the beautiful vision, right? And I see a lot of this with my female clients. So they're trying to, they're really touching on and embodying this divine feminine, the vision, that creative, inspirational vision. They really want to make a difference in the world. They really want to help people, and they're really starting to get on track with what they're here for. They've done that inner work to discover the wound and heal the trauma, and they're really stepping into their purpose, which is so beautiful to see. And yet they're trying to develop their business from the lower masculine level, right? Or maybe they want to reject that masculine part of them for all that it represents. So honestly, I see this in some of my male clients too, the ones that are much more in tune with their feminine, inner guided, creative, spiritual side. They too find it very hard to be in this kind of macho, male-dominated business or corporate environment, because there's a mismatch of the energy, that lower masculine with the divine or the higher feminine, that creative, inspirational, more spiritual part. So there's a mismatch there as well. So it's not just women in business, it's men as well. So, as I said, women in business often try to make things happen like the men in business do. A little bit like the bro marketing kind of vibe, right? And they can do it, but sometimes it's at the expense of their soul purpose, or it's just slightly off of their soul purpose. So what I've seen, I probably did this myself some years back, to be honest, is that you're on track with your soul purpose, but then you think you have to do it a certain way, and you start compromising it or changing your message, or your energy's not quite aligned now because even though you know your soul purpose, you've given up a little bit of it in how you market it or, use it within your business environment. I hope that makes sense to you. So you can push your business from that lower male energy, but sometimes, as I say, it's at the expense of your soul purpose or just slightly off it. And that's why it feels hard. And it could feel so inner directed and on purpose and on track that it uplifts you and expands, and you absolutely thrive in that environment and amplify in your business. And I got to say as well, from an energetic point of view, when you're in that space, your whole energy amplifies. And that's when you come into that authenticity, which I think I spoke about in my video last week, called Authenticity is the New Black. So I think these kind of go together, these videos. But anyway, to get there, to that point, you have to elevate your spirit. You have to connect with your heart. You have to be courageous enough to let go of some of your old beliefs about how things need to be, how they need to look, how they have to be done. And again, the challenge has been to be that in a male-dominated world of business. Now, there are many successful female business owners, of course. Some of them really are fulfilling their purpose, their soul purpose, and they're doing it their way, kind of, breaking through barriers to do it their way, on track, in alignment. And there are other successful women in business who are just women in business. They're not really on track with their soul purpose, or they might be slightly, but they're still a little bit torn, right, in the energies. So some women thrive in that environment. Some feel overwhelmed in that environment and they struggle despite their success. And it's all really a matter of where we are in our energy, how we're using our energy, and how aligned we are, to be perfectly honest. So, in my opinion, we are stepping into a whole new era in business. As we elevate ourselves into our divine aspects of our masculine and feminine, we will see more and more business being done in a new way. We are the creators of this new era. So I see businesses being done much more ethically, more genuine humanitarian projects coming to the forefront, things that could really make a difference in this world in a very positive way. And people can still make money. I'm not against people making money in business. I love money. It helps me do good things. But, I'm really for fair value exchange, right? Not profiting at the expense of others. Not selling your soul in order to get success. There's a lot of those contracts out there, of course. We see a lot of that in Hollywood and things like that. And I'm not, into handing over patents that could do amazing things in the world. that these big companies buy the patents and then they just get buried. They don't proceed forward. So I see us moving into a time when these inventions can really support the planet and heal people, because there are many, many new technologies coming out. And for many years, cures for, C words. I don't want to get banned or censored. So the C word and the other C word. There are cures for those and they've been suppressed. And I see that these things need to come out much more because it heals people, it supports people, and that's how it should be. So I see a time when these things are released and supported globally because we have shifted our consciousness and we will not accept being suppressed anymore by these big companies that only want to profit at the expense of people's health, and people's lives. I'm looking forward to a time, and I do see it coming, when artists and musicians are promoted for their talents, not because they agreed to toe the line and do as they're told by the music company, for example. So I do see new industry, new businesses coming, the way that we do all of that, because we have to. As divine, masculine and feminine beings, we literally can't function and survive in that old energy system anymore. So we have to create a new one, a new way to do these things. We have to let go of the old way, not keep trying to make it work, not trying to enter that environment and make it work when it's not who we are. And if it doesn't work, we have to create a new way now. Because when you enter their game, you have to play by their rules. But we're not like them, simply. So literally, if you are a divine being from beyond this matrix, you can't expect to go into their matrix and be successful. That's not how it's designed to be. But you can create a new way to do things that supersedes that old matrix game that is collapsing. I mean, it's very obviously collapsing. And now is the time then for us to start creating these new ways for that, because the energy and the level of consciousness is here on this earth plane now to support this new level. We call it new earth, awakening, all of this stuff, right? Now, the thing is, we still need our wits about us because there are new technologies out there now being promoted as healing everything, that you could possibly think about in an hour, things like that. Not everything that is offered is what it first appears to be. Some things are like halfway between the two. So the words that they're saying are very forward-thinking, optimistic, uplifting. It sounds so great. But there are still many distortions in the technology that they're running because they're still basing it from the old system. Was it Einstein who said something about you can't solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it? Well, there's that expression. But in this context, what I would say is, this is just my thought, my opinion, see what you think of it. If these old companies, this old matrix, all the, controllers, multinationals, whatever you want to call them, the people that have been in control of all of that in that matrix, if they can see that we're moving into a whole new level because of our awakening, it seems to me very logical that they're going to try and enter it with us. They're going to try and get themselves there. They're going to say all the right words. Well, we've got AI now. AI will say all the right words. But the point is, the technology is still their level of consciousness, which is low. So they're creating technology that supposedly heals people, but they're still in that matrix mindset of control. And everything they offer is not there to support us or heal us. So I see this divide, and there are many new technologies, the medbed type things that are round and about, that are in this split, in this mismatch. So you need to keep your wits about you, because some of what is offered is not what it appears to be. As I say, it's halfway, it's split in two spaces. So you need to tune in to your own inner guidance and ask for all that you need to understand come to you, so that you can make the right decisions about this. But I can tell you, it's definitely time to find a new way to look at things. A deeper commitment to yourself and your personal growth, and to letting go of the old beliefs, the limitations, the things that have held you stuck, so that you can move to your next level and you can step outside of your comfort zone. It's never comfortable to step outside your comfort zone, but I urge you to find this commitment to yourself and to your growth, because you are so much more than you know right now. That's true for all of us. We never really stop in that growth. But if you don't do this work, this inner work, this healing, this clearing, this awareness, this awakening work, you will stay exactly where you are right now. That could be that you'll stay stuck. If you're not happy where you are, then you need to change it. If you are happy where you are, well, then that's fine. Stay there. I'm not saying anything's wrong. I'm just saying, gauge it by yourself. If you're not happy and you know there's more for you and you're not getting there, well, then commit to you, to your personal growth, to your expansion, so that you can, really elevate yourself and come into more of who you truly are. So that's my video for today. Hopefully it's given you some things to think about. If you're ready to upgrade your mindset, shift your consciousness, get fully in alignment with your soul purpose, then I have something for you. I invite you to have a free alignment call with me. We can have a chat and see if I can help you, and what steps you need to take next, to get into your next elevated level, because it is there for you. It's available. So if I can help you with that, DM me, put a comment below, reach out, grab hold of me somewhere on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, and we'll be in touch. Awesome. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.